Welcome everyone to our channel narcscon with myself and Remy. The narcissist unblocks you mistakenly on Instagram. Let the games begin. Okay, my friends, this is a question that comes up quite a lot. It's part and parcel of the way the narcissist plays games with their sources of narcissistic supply, that being people that they've had relationships with in the past. So we're going to really delve into this so that you can use this experience if you were, in inverted commas, mistakenly unblocked on some form of social media, be it Instagram, Facebook, WhatsApp, whatever app the narcissist has blocked you on. And I'll also add in here, generally, they leave one avenue open, and that's generally email. But that's an aside. So, the narcissist has been gone a few months, a year, 6 months, whatever. They're not talking to you. They told you on the way out the door that you were the spawn of the devil and they didn't know what they saw in you. Everything was your fault. And they never, ever want to speak to you again. I mean, when you even think about that, that is so messed up in relation to having a relationship with anyone, adult relationship. It just beggars belief. But when we're in it, because of what we've been through in the relationship, we believe it nearly. It seems shocking, but we kind of accept it and take on the emotional destruction and distraughtness that we feel and grief. And it really can bring us to a very low place because we've been groomed to accept a very low opinion of ourselves, or we've stood up for ourselves in the relationship. And the reward we get for advocating for ourselves is to be dumped by the narcissist because we threaten the narcissist's control. So that's a whole nother avenue. But now let's just say that that's happened, or we've had to leave the narcissist. There was no choice because of the behavior that was going on. And we're still trauma bonded. We're still trying to work out what the heck went on in that relationship. Why do I feel so bad? And why has this nearly taken me out? Why can't I move on when all my friends and, family, or most of them, say, listen, you just got to let this go. You just got to move on. It's just not that simple. You've literally been brainwashed. You've been in a program with a darkness. That's all I can say in relation to that. I have a spiritual aspect to this disorder and a psychological aspect, and we bring both of them into the podcasts if you're new here. So, did the narcissist unblock you, let's say, call it Instagram, social media, mistakenly? And I will say to you, obviously there's a little room, 99.9% of the time, no, the narcissist did not mistakenly unblock you from Instagram or other forms of social media. The narcissist doesn't make mistakes with their air, oxygen, and life source. And that is what their sources of narcissistic supply, that their main sources, past, present, and even future, are guarded and managed, micromanaged, because that's the narcissist way of surviving this life. So they're not going to make mistakes with their oxygen tanks. I'll put it to you like that. And you may say to me, Paula, well, why do you come to this conclusion? And why would the narcissist unblock me from Instagram? Why does the narcissist do anything? It's in terms of manipulation of you, control of you, and to achieve their strategized agenda, whether that's conscious or subconscious or a mixture of both. And I'm going to give you, I think I have 7 reasons that the narcissist is unblocking you on a certain forum when you may have been, say, 3 months out, 6 months out, and you're still trying to figure it out, as I said in the beginning of the podcast, and you're still trying to get, dot the I's and cross the T's and extricate yourself from the traumatic rabbit hole maze that a relationship with a narcissist tends to leave us in. So this is yet another thing that, you have a question about before you can finally wipe them off and free yourself to go on and live that beautiful life that you have to live. So let's get started. Okay. Number 1. If a narcissist, narcissists know that when they leave us, that it's going to take us a hell of a long time to recover. And even some of them think we'll never recover, that we'll never forget them. And I've been quoted this by a narcissist, that I'll always be number 1 for that person and nobody will ever replace me and they will never forget me. So that's where they're coming from their superior, omnipotent, grandiose idea of the false self. So when they unblock you, they know that you're watching them. They know this energetically, spiritually, and also from past experience. And because they have this indelible belief in themselves, or infallible belief in themselves as being wonderful, and you being mesmerized by them, which you have been in the past, and I have been in the past. So for them, it makes perfect sense that you're still watching them. So they know that this is going to be a significant move when you've not heard anything from the narcissist for months and were left in no uncertain terms that you would never hear from them again. It's called in my opinion, a brain trauma bond stimuli. So all the neural pathways, all the messages the narcissist brainwashed you with about yourself and about them and about your importance in the world and their importance in the world and their narrative in your head. So you've been working on that and healing, and you've been replacing those neural pathways with, well, that wasn't true. And this is who I am, not who you say I am. When this brain stimuli comes, you look down and you see, I'm unblocked. It sets all of the neural pathways that the narcissist laid down with you alight again. And you're going to have to go back over them again, because this stimulates the whole rush of the relationship, the whole adrenaline stuff coming on again when you see this. It gives you a shock, a fright, a surprise. It really stimulates you, like as if you were a machine that had, run down on energy to the very bottom, and suddenly you're sparked, you're jump started back up again. It is also, this stimuli, a precursor for the next activity the narcissist has planned for you. So it's kind of setting you up. It's turning the on button on again where you're concerned. Now, hopefully, it's been a long time and you've done a good bit of healing. So the on button, your brain and you as a person are kind of cranking up a bit and you're not shooting back up and ready for action. But it's definitely going to be a stimulus to set you on course again, put it like that. The second, it'll also keep you locked. I've got some notes here I'm trying to read from. It'll keep you locked and set you back on your healing. So it'll keep you locked into the trauma bond that the narcissist really tried very hard to create before leaving you in the safe security that it would take you a long time to recover. And even thinking of that may help you think, gosh, this person actually had a relationship with me, traumatized me to such an extent that they left me to recover myself if I can possibly recover myself, in the surety that I would be waiting for them. That's how sure they are about what they're doing. It's pretty heinous, but they know what they're doing, and they know the way you will be. So it's literally keeping you locked in that trauma bond and priming you for the next activity. The second thing I've got written down is it'll send a message to you that the narcissist is doing great. I mean, they're not going to mistakenly unblock you from one of their social media sources, you know, for you to see them doing really badly, unless they're playing victim and trying to garner your sympathy. But whatever it is they want you to see, that's the message they're giving you. And I tell you, if you sent me the Instagram reels at the time they mistakenly unblocked you, I would nearly be able to tell you the message they're trying to get to you. They're playing you. It's a chess move. They're playing you. So you can analyze that by what they're actually playing. And this leads me into one of the things they may be doing with you is to show them having a great time and with a new person. So they're going to try and do a bit of triangulation. And that triangulation may be with a person, or it can be with a place. You know, if it's a place the narcissist talked to you, future faked you about, that they would go with you there someday, or plans they had for setting up a business, or whatever will be personal to you. They will be triangulating you with that dream or person or whatever, to make you feel like you're missing out and you're jealous, you know, make you envious, make you wish that you were still with them. When you think about this, it's so pathetic, guys. It is so very pathetic. And the other thing I'd say to you at this point is, they went off and told you that you weren't all that, in no uncertain terms. Then why are they interested in playing games with you? Why are you important enough to them for them to try and stimulate an emotional reaction out of you, or to re-engage with you? So that doesn't make sense, them telling you that you're of no importance. And this is why the narcissistic personality is so unstable and kind of jumps from one host to another to feed off, and leaves the host in a kind of a web, a spider's web, so that the spider can come back and feed on the person that's still trapped in the web. Okay. The other thing is a possible reason. These reasons are all actually interlinked, but some of them you may get 4 out of 5 or 3 out of 5 in relation to your particular customized case. But another reason is so that they maybe can see your posts. I know some of these social apps and social media, you know, if you block someone, you can't see theirs and they can't see yours. If they unblock you, then they can see yours again. So that's one reason. But most of them will get either somebody else to do it, or will come in with a fake account. Narcissists love fake accounts, and fake accounts suit them beautifully because they're fake anyway. Okay, the next reason I have down is, and as always, they're control checking you. They're control checking you. They're control checking you to see, first of all, if you will do anything when they unblock you. The second part of that is to see if you do anything, how long does it take you to do anything, like leave a comment or do a like or mention it to somebody else that you're mutually involved with. All of these things give the narcissist an awful lot of information. Again, they micromanage and have learnt to decipher people with kind of an X-ray type of knowledge as to where that person lies emotionally in relation to them. Because again, it's their food source, it's their oxygen and life supply, their control of the narcissistic supply and supply sources. So, control check. They want to see if you will unblock them on some other form of social media as a response to them unblocking you. And if you do that, that tells them a whole lot. And oftentimes, a reaction that puzzles people greatly is, well, the narcissist unblocked me. And so I gave it a bit of thought and I thought, well, I'll unblock them too. And as soon as I unblock them on another form or whatever, they block me again. And it doesn't make sense to me. Well, I'm telling you, it makes perfect sense from the narcissistic point of view. They wanted to see how under control were you. If you would like, comment, talk about, or actually go the full hog and unblock them as well. Because if you unblock them as well, they go tick, under control. I can push that person aside for another while, or I can block them again in order to stimulate them to reach out to me, which I think brings me on to the next point. To stimulate a Hoover from you. They're playing games and trickery with your brain, with your emotions, with your soul. They're kind of poking you and to see how you'll react. Will you not react and walk away? Will you snarl? Will you gush towards them and have a lot of hope that maybe the relationship could get back online? It's an amusement, but it's also a very serious thing for a narcissist when they're checking on their food sources. So don't underestimate the importance of it. The narcissist will want you to think, when they say block you again, that they had made a mistake, and they actually want to project that out there to you at that point. If you've unblocked them, that I made a mistake. Of course I didn't unblock you. I wouldn't unblock you. That was just a mistake. The app, I had downloaded it and, it unblocked everyone I blocked. Of course I didn't unblock you. Don't believe a word of it. Don't believe a word of it. They're just using that so that they don't look bad and that they can be unaccountable as always. This is a maneuver that is planned. So don't underestimate that. They'll try and make you feel, if you did question them or question somebody else about it, say, hey, Dickie Doos there unblocked me on Instagram. And I'm really wondering why, because I'm perplexed, because they said they didn't want anything else to do with me. And then that person goes back and talks to Dickie Doo, and Dickie Doo says, it was the app, it wasn't me. I wouldn't unblock him. No way. Totally typical of narcissists. They're so darn predictable, it's unbelievable. They definitely have the same playbook, variations of it, different versions of it, but it's the same playbook, guys. Okay, so they want to stimulate a Hoover from you, and that could even be, like, if you hear this stuff, imagine the time it takes you to try and unravel, well, why did they unblock me? Was it a mistake? Then they blocked me again, and you're back right in that rabbit hole with the narcissist, scrambling around, not achieving anything. And the narcissist is just having a whoopee-doo time, knowing that you are still interested in them in some way, even if it's a negative interest. Any attention to a narcissist is narcissistic supply. The next thing I've written down is, it'll also, and this was the first point we made, that it's a precursor to set you up again, set you alight again, for them to Hoover you directly. So this is a Hoover. An unblocking of you on social media is a mini Hoover. And generally it is setting you up for something They want something from you again. They want to know you're under control, or they want you to hoover them, or they want to see what you're up to if you're with anybody else, or they want to actually hoover you safely. They have to know where you're at in relation to them. So that's another big one. So, people think it's a minor thing, and the narcissist will want you to think it's a minor thing and it's a mistake, because they're actually accessing information, important intel on you and where you're at, and the possibility of, can you be of use to them now or in the future? Are you in a holding position? So I think this is the last thing. Now I've got one or two more. Show you that show you, okay, now here's another kind of fake part of the mask, that they convince themselves. So they've gone off into the sunset, as I say, on their donkey, and they've said, you're all bad, you're to blame for everything. It's raining today and it's probably your fault. So you get the gist, guys. They blame you for everything, and they're satisfied with that. In their own little bodies, they go off and they think, I'm right, I'm perfect, everybody else is wrong, because that's their narcissism, being a defensive, offensive shield against the world. They convince themselves of this, and they won't see it any other way. So then they decide to themselves, they're getting hungry for narcissistic supply. Things ain't going well for them, despite the Instagram where they're off in Honolulu surfboarding or paddleboarding, and that was your dream destination, and they're making it look like they're having a whoopee-doo time. But they're not, and they're getting hungry, and that's why they've opened up a channel to you, because you were a great source of narcissistic supply. You were loving, you were kind, you were generous. I'm not saying you were a saint, and neither am I. But from a narcissistic point of view, we may have been giving, empathic, and easily emotionally controlled, because we didn't know that there were narcissists out there who had a dark, destructive energy about them and who fed off other human beings. We do now. So they want now to present, I forgive them. I forgive you. I forgive Paula. I forgive this person. And I'm such a great guy or gal. Like, I'm a mature person. And, I can unblock them. I'll give them some grace. I am grandiose enough to have the generosity of spirit, to be this great mature guy or gal, and I'm going to unblock this poor little snivelling creature who, was crying and left their job and lost out so much after I left them. And so it goes, guys. I think you can get the picture. So they convince themselves that they're this great person by unblocking you, instead of saying to themselves the truth, I really miss that person. They were a great person and I made a mistake in leaving them. So, it's a tiny thing, but having gone through narcissistic crap, that the minutiae and the detail are so important. They tell you the truth. The truth is in the detail of how a narcissist acts. So essentially, that small maneuver of unblocking you on a particular forum is telling you all of this. It's giving you an insight into the truth, that you were with a narcissist and that they miss you. But that's never going to be, you're never going to hear that from the narcissist unless they have to use I miss you as a manipulation. So that you were right to kind of go when you jumped and said, they've unblocked me. You were right. That's a significant move by a narcissist post the relationship. And last but not least, I don't know about you, but I do know about people I've coached, and I know about my own experience. when that Hoover comes, in whatever form it comes, and the unblocking is one of the safest Hoovers a narcissist can do without exposing themselves, because they can always revert to, oh, it was a mistake. You, I bet, will get this huge adrenaline spike when you notice this, or you actually get a main Hoover. But even with this mini Hoover, your adrenaline goes through the roof. Your dopamine and your validation and then it goes down again, because you wonder and think, oh, it's a mistake, because you don't believe. You're going back to the narcissist programming in thinking you're not all that. I wouldn't be bothered unblocking you. So we tend to be all over the place when this happens. We tend to go, whoo, I'm validated. Oh, maybe, they're definitely a narcissist and now they're interested in me again. And no matter who you are, where you are, whatever type of human experience you're having, it is validating to get a Hoover. But we must use this validation not to re-engage with the narcissist and think, oh, we can make it work this time. They made a mistake, I wasn't so great myself. All the things that your brain is going to tell you to try and get you back to that hormonal drug hormone pleasure state that the narcissist has spiked in you in the past. So your brain is going to try and tell you, oh, we could have a great time here. Maybe we should try it. You tell your brain, no brain, that's not going to happen. I'm going to instead use this adrenal spike, use this stimulation of my pleasure hormones to drive my life forward, because I am this happiness. I am this joy. This narcissist knows this. It tried to convince me that I wasn't. We need to be done with that type of energy sucker, and we need to go forward and live the full potential of the lives that we have, that are precious, and that, guys, the awakening and the pain you go through with all of this confusion and the wounds that the narcissist has rooted around in you from childhood, this experience can clean up all of that to give you the stimulation to be the best version of yourself. The version that at times you felt like when you were with the narcissist, because the narcissist facilitated that wonderful version of you. You don't need anyone to facilitate that now. You have that power within you to be the best version of yourself, and even a better version of yourself than you've yet to experience. Go out and smell the freshness of the air. Go in the ocean. Feel the feelings and feel them. Don't just say rush from one thing to the next. Be grateful in that moment that you're self-sufficient, that you can do whatever you want with your life, that you can enjoy every moment of peace and happiness that you and God and other good people can share together in this human experience. The darkness has shown us a contrast. It's shown us what we don't want. But don't go back to that fast food, what I call fast food energy that the narcissist gives you, and then gives you a health problem when you've had the fast food for so long. Go to the nourishment, go to the health, go to the happiness, go to the amazingly exciting life that you have ahead without the darkness. And I guess that's it for today. I've had a wonderful swim earlier on, and it certainly stimulated a lot of joy and happiness. And so has Remy, for those that think that he doesn't get out. He doesn't spend all day on the couch. But whenever I go and talk, whenever I set the ring light up and the microphone up, he hops up on the sofa and goes to sleep. So no, he does have an active life, and he's a very happy boy. And thank you for all your comments, and thank you for your support. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe. I'll end with that because I always forget to say it. If you've stayed with me for this length of time, it would help greatly for us to keep putting out content. That support is very important. Take great care of yourselves, and I will see you again very soon. Bye for now.